In this video you will learn the divide and measure command. To go to the divide command, write div, enter, and I want to place 3 chairs equal space in this line. Select this line and write 4, enter. So 3 point has been drawn here, but I cannot see that the point style is single pixel. I can change that. Go to DDP type, enter, and change the point style to something like this. Okay, and I can see now this 3 point. Now copy this chair and select this midpoint and click on each point and enter to exit the command. This way you can place object equally, and now you can select and you can go to move, select and move that partially, and you can either click this point and say delete or erase. Also you can go to DDP type to change that to point, or you can also select as none, so there will be nothing. So now you cannot select anything. Now again I DDP type, and now select this one. Okay, and I'm going to delete this line points. Now I want to show you the measure command. Now I want to show you the measure command. By going to measure, write measure, to go to the measure command, enter, and select object. I press 3 feet, enter. So it has created 3 feet space equally. The first 3 feet is from this point to this point, and another 3 feet here, another 3 feet here, and the remainder is here. So you can also use measure command, but it keeps the remainder of option at the end of the object. And in this way you can use, and you can draw any object equally, and you can keep this point style. You can delete that, or you can keep that point style by going to DDP type and selecting either this single pixel or selecting none. So this way you can use measure and divide command. In this video you will learn the hatch command. Go to ribbon tab, home, and under the draw panel there is a hatch command. Click the hatch command. Now it asking to pick internal point. When I am keeping my mouse cursor here, it is giving me preview. I can pick point by 2 ways. One is going to pick point, and I can also select object. First try this pick point option and click this area. The hash is done, and by default this is 1 scale, so it is very dense, and I can change this scale to something bigger so that I can see that. I can also change the angle. I can also change this transparency if I don't want to show that in the drawing very dense. You can also change the origin. Click and click this point. So now the hash has started from this point, and the pattern you are showing is by default ANS130. You can change that going to this drop down menu. You can select anyone. You can select solid, and you can select concrete, and anyone if you want. You can select sand. So we are now currently in this option, and by going to option you can change some patterns. Currently now this is outer island direction. If I change that normal, so it will give you a option. First area has the next area is no hatch, and the next area is hatch. You can change outer island. So currently we are now outer islands, it will has only the outer portion. And you can also change to ignore direction, so it will has all the area ignoring the internal object. We will select outer island and enter. Now let's understand the pick point and select object. So when we are in pick point, we can pick any point, either they are made of individual segment or polyline. To understand that, this area is made of individual segment, but this area is made of polyline. So now go to hash and select object. So I cannot select object by one click here, but I can select this object by one click and I can make hash. But I can do that way too. If I select object in this way, and it will going to hash the area. So this is the way you can hash. Again go to hash and pick point, try to hash this area, but it is giving you a boundary that the closed boundary cannot be determined because there is a gap. So if the boundary is not closed, you cannot make hash. So you can use select object option, select and try to select by this way, but it is not hashing properly because it has only selected the two object and this object is continuous. So you cannot use this option this way. To do that, you need to break the line here, go to modify and break at point, select object, click here, again enter, select object, click here, okay. Now go to hatch, select object option and try to select object, and now hash is done. This way you can make hash even the boundary is not closed. Again go to hash and pick point, hash this area. You can also select multiple area at a time and hash. This way you can make hash. In this video you will learn the gradient command and how to edit hatch. Go to this gradient command below the hatch, click, and you can choose any option from these two. I'm going to pick point, click, and the gradient has been done. And you can change the angle from here, you can change transparency, and you can also say associate, and you can change color here. And you see by default the gradient is GR linear. You can examine there are some other gradient. Going to this drop down menu, and you can change color from here, this one, if you want this one. This way you can do gradient. Enter. Again go to gradient and take any other option, click, enter. You can use mesh command, MA enter. Say I want to mesh this one with this one, so click this one first, then click this one, so both are same now. Now see how we can edit the hash command. Click this hash. I want to remove hash from this area. By mistake I have given this, but when I am clicking here I cannot edit this. But See, when I am clicking this hash, it's a associative, and when I am clicking this hash, the associative is dead. So now I can edit this hash with any point. There are 4 gifts in 4 sides. You can stitch them this way. But for this type of case, when this is not associated with the boundary, then I can also edit that by going to recreate boundary, and I will choose polyline and reassociate hash with the new boundary. Say yes and enter. Now when you click this boundary, and you can stretch this one, and you can delete if you think that the hash is now final. And you can also change, say I want solid hash, solid one, and I can delete this boundary. So this way you can edit hash, and the hash should be associative when you are doing the hash, otherwise you cannot edit that directly. So you have to recreate the boundary again to edit the hash. This way you can edit hash, and you can use the gradient.